Once again, welcome back to Crypto Tutorial. On today's video, I would like to discuss Chainlink and how it's currently performing and how it will be performing during the upcoming hours and days. But before doing so, I would highly appreciate if you could follow me down on Twitter at ThoroughCrypto, where I will be updating you about all upcoming videos, and as well I will be posting tweets about which type of currencies you would like to discuss during the videos on the channel, and as well about other type of updates. This being said, I would like to start right away. What you can clearly see is that I've already opened up the Chainlink compared to Bitcoin chart on the daily time frame, and what I've drawn is this ascending support. You can clearly see we have already made 3 touch points on top of this ascending support. Therefore, this is a confirmed support line, and I think this is actually something very important. You have to take into consideration that this ascending support is actually right now our current uptrend. You can clearly see we are creating higher lows, and right now if we see a retest occur of this ascending support, it would just confirm this current uptrend. Of course, what I think is very important is that we might see once again the chart heading towards the retest of this ascending support, and what I would like to discuss is if we will be able to actually stay on top of this ascending support and therefore also stay on top of this uptrend on the Chainlink compared to Bitcoin chart. So let's get started. What you can clearly see right away if I enable the moving averages is actually something that does concern me, and that is that we are right now trading in between the 100-day moving average underneath us and as well the 200-day moving average above us, serving as resistance. You can clearly see that it has been serving as resistance for several days already. We were able to break above it. Unfortunately, right now we are once again straight back down, and we are finding support once again on top of the 100-day moving average. Therefore, you can clearly see that these are major levels of support and resistance. But what I think is actually quite significant is that we are not right now above those levels and not finding support on top of all 3 moving average. Therefore, I think it is likely that we are going to see once again a dip below those moving average, finding support on top of this ascending support and heading straight back up. Of course, that is the perfect scenario for the current uptrend, but we could possibly see a breakdown below this ascending support and a further decline continue. But if we take a look as well at the EMA ribbon, you can clearly see that the EMA ribbon is still serving as support as well. That is actually something that looks rather healthy, but you can clearly see in the past we saw the EMA ribbon serve as support for a while, but eventually we saw a breakdown towards the ascending support line, and straight back up we had a type of V-shaped recovery on the daily time frame. For sure, I think this trend line will hold strong for the current time, but you have to take into consideration that if we break out below it, the strength will decrease, and as well the price action of Chainlink will as well start decreasing. This being said, I would like to head towards the MACD. The MACD, you can clearly see that we were able to see a major spike. We saw a crossover occur. We saw some upward momentum at that point in time, but unfortunately we were rejected right away, and we saw a crossover occur once more, and we started to experience some downward momentum again. This downward momentum will have significant during the upcoming hours. I think we will see for sure during the upcoming perhaps week downward momentum getting created. Therefore, I think this major level of support, this ascending support line, has to be monitored very closely, because as I said previously, if we break below this support line, it could perhaps mean we are seeing a downtrend getting started. For sure, right now it's still looking very good. If we take a look at the 4-hourly time frame, you can clearly see that the crossover occurs right away at this point in time as well. We are right now experiencing some downward momentum, and I think we are heading towards that retest of what I've talked previously about. For sure, we are right now as well finding support on top of the 0.236 Fibonacci. If we enable the EMA ribbon, you can clearly see that the EMA ribbon unfortunately is serving as a level of resistance above us, and that could perhaps mean that it will be difficult for Chainlink to actually break out above it and be able to stay on top of the 0.236 Fibonacci level compared to Bitcoin. Lastly, I would like to discuss the RSI. The RSI on the 4-hourly time frame, and what I think is very good to know is that we are right now inside of this downward trend. You can clearly see that we are creating lower highs each time. Here we have not been able to break out towards the upside each time on the RSI and neither on the chart. And what you can see is that we are not seeing any type of bullish or bearish divergence getting formed right now. So therefore, I think it is very likely that we could see a major decrease towards the downside on the Chainlink chart. So right now, the key thing I will be monitoring very closely on the Chainlink chart is this ascending support, and if we will be able to just retest it and get straight back up once again. Otherwise, I will say it is quite unfortunate, but we might see a downtrend getting started, and that is not something we would like to see right now. Of course, I will be heading towards the Litecoin compared to US dollar chart, where I will discuss Litecoin's price action. Clearly, I have already drawn this Fibonacci from swing high towards swing low, and you can clearly see where the levels of support and resistance are going to be for the longer periods of time. Right now, what you can clearly notice on the Litecoin chart is actually that if we take a closer look, we are seeing the EMA ribbon serving as a major level of resistance as well on the 4-hourly time frame on the USD chart. And what I think is very important is to take a look as well at the daily chart and how the moving averages are looking at this point in time. So right at this point in time, they're looking very good to me. You can clearly see that all three moving averages are serving as major levels of support, and therefore I think this is a very solid support zone. And if we break down below it, it will be actually quite bad for the overall uptrend due to the fact that we are going to see not just a lower low getting created, but as well we will see a breakdown below the moving averages. And you can clearly see that in the past they were major levels of resistance, as you could see on the 50-day moving average for 3 days in a row, and as well before we were able to actually break out towards the upside above the 100 and 200-day moving average. You saw a lot of consolidation at that point in time before we were able to break out towards upside. So the moving averages are looking good right now, but if we break up underneath those, they might serve as major levels of resistance for sure. Also, I would like to discuss the EMA ribbon. You can clearly see the EMA ribbon is serving as support as well, but the EMA ribbon has been retested previously, and lots of times when we see a second retest or a third retest, it's more likely that we are going to break out towards the downside. Therefore, right now, I'm very careful about what is currently going on due to the fact that we might see perhaps a breakdown towards the downside, and as well the EMA ribbon serving as a major level of resistance on top of us. Let's head straight back towards the 4-hourly time frame. But before doing so, I would like to show you my YouTube channel. And if you're liking the content so far, do not forget to hit that subscribe button and as well hit the like button underneath. And for all people who are interested in leverage trading and also in spot trading on different type of exchanges, do not forget to use the links down below where you will be able to earn up to $1,610 deposit bonus on bybit. And as well, you will be able to use GTO, Binance, and Femex to leverage trade and spot trade cryptocurrency. So if you're searching for a platform to trade on, do not forget to use the link down below. You will be helping the channel by doing so. Let's head back down towards the 4-hourly time frame, and what you can clearly see on the 4-hourly time frame is not just the EMA ribbon that we have discussed earlier as a level of resistance, but what I would like to discuss actually is something different. You can clearly see that we are right now getting supported by this level of ascending support. This has been a level of ascending support for quite a while now. We have seen multiple touch points, and right now if we see a breakdown occur underneath this level, I think it is very likely that we're going to see a major decrease in Chainlink's price action. Therefore, I would like to actually show you this as a level you have to monitor very closely right now if you are right now holding your Chainlink. Of course, if we see a decline, it would be a perfect place to accumulate even more Chainlink, and what I think is the perfect spot to buy even more is actually at this orange box. So if you would like to accumulate more Chainlink, I think the orange box will be a major stronghold due to the fact that in the past you could see we traded for quite a while at this level, but as well due to the fact that I think this is a major place of accumulation and where we will be able to just get a lot of gains afterwards. So if we go towards the $18.75, I think that is a level you have to consider to buy even more Chainlink due to the fact that that is a very cheap zone, and as well a major level where I think the retest or the trend reversal is going to start. Lastly, I would like to discuss actually the Fibonacci retracement, but placed differently. So I would like to place the Fibonacci retracement right now from swing low towards swing high, And what you can clearly see is that we are right now underneath this 0.786, and that if we would head even further down, we would be heading all the way towards the 1 Fibonacci at $23.98. Of course, if we see a breakdown occur underneath this ascending support, I personally think that we are going to see a major decline, and how that decline is going to look like is something I would like to discuss right away. So if we take a look at this parallel channel, you can clearly see that if I place this at this point in time just like this, we have already seen 2 touch points, and what I think is that we're going to see a decline that is going to look something rather similar to this over here, and that would be a decline of approximately 12.6%. Of course, we would be heading even further down below the $23.98. Therefore, I would like to say that this could probably mean that we will see an even further decline heading towards the $18 level that I discussed previously. For sure, right now, what I think is more important is to actually monitor very closely the Chainlink compared to Bitcoin chart to see if we will be holding strong on top of this ascending support level. Of course, what I would like to draw as well at this point in time is a different support zone. It's not just the $23.98 level, but it's actually a level I think is very important, and that is that level underneath at this point in time. Therefore, I would like to place a horizontal line to show you what I actually think the level is going to be, where we will be finding major support in between the $23 and the $18 target. That would be the $21.27, due to the fact that we have seen previous resistance at this point in time several times. You could see that over here, and as well, once we broke out towards the upside, we found support on top of it several times, and before we break down towards the downside, we found support on top of it as well. Therefore, I think this is a major level of support that we have to monitor very closely during the upcoming days. As well, I would like to enable the MACD on the Chainlink compared to USD chart. You can clearly see that the crossover is inevitable. We might see crossover occur during the upcoming hours, and that could potentially mean that we are going to start seeing that decline on Chainlink right away. As well, if we take a look at the Chainlink daily chart, you can clearly see that the crossover occurred already several days ago. We have experienced major momentum towards the downside, and I think this momentum won't stop anytime soon. Therefore, I think you have to be very careful, and if you would like to accumulate more Chainlink, perhaps it might be right now during the upcoming week the perfect time to accumulate even more. Lastly, I would like to discuss on the 4-hourly time frame the RSI on the Chainlink compared to USD chart. You can clearly see right over here we are not seeing any strange divergences. Also, what you could consider is that if we see a major breakdown towards the downside and see this starting to create a lower low, we might start seeing a bullish divergence on Chainlink that might perhaps help to stay on top of the $23 level. But for sure, that is something you have to monitor very closely, due to the fact that the RSI might be going down even further as well, and therefore the bullish divergence won't get formed. Thank you very much for watching the video so far, and if you would like to stay up to date about all upcoming videos, do not forget to subscribe on this channel. Right now, I would like to thank you once again, and I would like to wish you a pleasant day. So bye bye.
Yeah, I've been on Uniswap, now I'm out on one itch. Used to trade centralized, now we on the fun